Hey guys, if you're shopping for knives and gear, make sure you check out the description of the video you're watching right now for links to some great online retailers. There's also individual links for knives that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and welcome to episode 76 of The Knife Guy. If you are new to my channel or just came out of some weird corner of the internet and you have no idea where you are, who I am a knife guy, knife user, knife collector, knife enjoyer of many sorts. We are all knife guys and gals in this really super weird and complicated EDC and knife world. We all go down our own unique paths, but oftentimes those paths intersect and we experience a lot of the same stuff. That's what this show is all about. I like to lay out a bunch of knives that are either mine or some of my generous viewers and flip them out and just sort of, you know, just talk about these things and give you guys something to look at or listen to on Sunday mornings, Sunday afternoons, what have you. Thank you so much to my generous patrons for supporting me. If you'd like to check out Patreon, there's a link in the description. Please follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. So what are we talking about today? I just put the titanium scales on the Shaman, and I actually got the action just the way I want it. Oh, and the centering just dead on. It's so perfect. And you know, a lot of people know that my thing with the Shaman is I love the Shaman. In fact, it created a new foundation of preference for me when it comes to ergonomics. I also really like how it looks, and it's combined with the compression lock, which I love. In terms of manipulation, and because it's not exposed like a frame lock, right? It's got an easy opening hole. It's nice and robust. It's got the heft that I like. It's very close to what I consider, in its base form, it's very close to what I consider to be Excalibur. And the term Excalibur on this channel means the ideal knife for any individual person. So I'm not suggesting, of course, that the Shaman is the best knife in the world for everybody, but it does meet a lot of my wants, right? I understand, you know, there are some people who say, well, in this usage situation, it has this fault. This comes down to enthusiast preferences for me, right? Beyond what it is capable of as a cutting tool. There's a whole series called Quest for the Perfect Folding Knife on this channel. It's in a playlist. You can check that out so you can get perspective on everything that I look for. And I've always said, gosh, if they made titanium scales for this thing, it'd just about be perfect, right? And now here a year and a half later, they finally did. Flightanium made titanium scales for this, and they just fit beautifully. God, I love this. They even made a backspacer that makes way more sense than the original one, which wasn't flush at the top, right? The gear pattern. So this has just about everything that I'm looking for in an ideal folding knife, minus the texturing, which, yes, that is coming. I'm going to have this sent off. At this point, it looks like it's probably going to be Fanatic Edge who's going to do their diamond texture on at least one side, possibly both. And excuse me, I'm getting rid of an alarm on my phone. You know, on top of that, I guess the only thing that it's really missing are the external stops, which in this case, because it's so freaking close, I guess I'm willing to make an exception for. But and then obviously, you know, the steel, while S30V is great, it's not ideal. And this knife, you know, like S45VN and a tumbled finish would really make it perfect. So the reason I'm telling you all this is because I've come to a point where, you know, I've handled so many knives, and I talk about what's good and what's bad in terms of what I look for, and then I talk about which types of people might enjoy this more for me, or who I think would really, you know, find value in this, right? And then that's how I kind of do my review process. But I've become so picky, right? And I know that everything that I want, it's just really hard to exist all in one package. The Shaman is going to come closer than any other knife that I've ever handled, even my Hinderers, once everything is complete. I have a new pocket clip coming for this guy as well. Once that day finally comes, I'll hold essentially exactly what it is that I've been looking for all this time, and it's crazy. You know, if you're wondering, is it satisfying? I mean, does it feel great to finally be able to build exactly what it is that you've been looking for? Yeah. Oh my God, I could not be happier with this. Even just in this, if this came just like this, right? My preference to this is already higher. I'll say it right now. It's already higher, you know, than anything else that I've ever handled, even my XMs, but it'll just take it that much further once everything is done. It is an odd feeling, though, because I realized I'm approaching the point where I finally get exactly what I want. And a lot of my drive, my interest in this world is constantly paying attention to every last little thing that comes out, right? Whether it's interesting in its own way or if it's interesting because it corresponds with exactly what I'm looking for, right? I'll always have that part of the knife world where it's like, hey, this is neat because it's a new thing and it's kind of, it's not exactly what I look for, but it sure is awesome. Approaching this, this point where I'm finally going to get my hands on exactly what I'm looking for is odd, because it's like, well, what happens after that? I'm going to get it and I'm going to love it and relish it, and it's going to be amazing. And I think what's most likely what will happen, right, is it'll set a new bar for preferences for me, and then I'll, when it comes to like Excalibur requirements, everything that I look at will be compared to this knife, right? I also realize that it's very, very unlikely after that point that something will just suddenly become available that hits every nail on the head. I'm sure it's possible, and for all I know, I could be contradicted the day after it gets built, and a knife could come out and it's like, here it is, it's everything you wanted, but it's better, right? Or it introduces a new element that you hadn't even considered, right? I think the worst, that's actually a great outcome, right? Is that I'm just like some other thing happens, some other element that comes out, and I'm like, oh, hypothetically, in some really like unlikely circumstance, that element might be better, right? Because this is all based on hypothetical, what if scenarios and like just my preferences in knives that have nothing to do with utility. That's actually the best case scenario, right? Is that I use it to seek out. Worst case scenario, I peek at that and then I lose interest in anything else because it doesn't hold. I don't think that that's going to happen, right? But it's crossed my mind. It's like, oh man, like the whole Christmas morning feeling has been present for so long, right? The present has yet to be unwrapped, and it's about to be unwrapped, and it's going to be like, yay! Now what do I do? So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens after that. I very much doubt that I will lose interest in seeking out newer things. I think what I want to talk about today is exactly that, getting your hands on a lot of different things and sort of getting everything put together in your mind, like all of your preferences. Oh, I wish this was that way. I wish this was that way, and then finally having it come to fruition. Or another way to look at it is if you've ever ordered a custom knife or, paid for something, long in advance, and then the maker or the dealer says, okay, it'll be available, months out, and then like in the case of the Evo Typhoon, which we all thought we might get in September, it's looking like it's going to be November now, and I've waited for that, right? Waiting for something to happen, and then it finally, gets there. Essentially, I guess the build-up right before the event horizon is kind of like, it's a silly thing to get nervous about, but it is kind of, if you've been through this before, because you have all these expectations, and you're wondering, are they actually going to be met? And then if they are met, then what? Right? Because that moment where you realize I have exactly what I want is very brief, right? That moment itself, right, it will never peak as hard as right then and there in that moment, and then it forever declines, right? Because we're human beings and we have short attention spans and our interest falls away, right? So I don't even know what it is that I'm really expecting. I'm excited to get this thing completely done. I'm excited to have what I've been talking about for so long as this hypothetical idea of perfection for me, right? But I'm also terrified of there being a void there, because it's been this sort of core, I don't know, in a way it's kind of been the energy source for a lot of my enthusiasm in this hobby, is the idea that perfection is out there and I have to seek it because I don't know exactly what it looks like or if it'll ever actually take form, and it's about to. So all right, at least what I assume is perfection, what corresponds with me, right? So I have no idea what happens after that. I can only hope that the knife world will continue. And like, it sounds silly, like, gosh, I sure hope the knife world keeps coming out with cool stuff to impress me, because I've found, no, I'm not saying that. I mean, obviously, I think that's what's going to occur, is that I will love it, and then my attention will eventually get pushed to somewhere else, But it will absolutely set a new bar. I'll constantly, I'm certain that after this is completely done, I will constantly get it out and reference it and just say, this is what I consider to be perfect for me, right? So when I look for, I'm not necessarily saying, you know, once I have it, I'm going to compare knives like the Benchmade Bug Out to a full titanium Shaman and be like, well, it's not as good because it's not a full titanium Shaman. No, because I'm still able to recognize a good design that's catered towards a certain type of people, despite having my own tastes and having found something that meets that exactly, right? So yeah, it's going to be kind of weird, right? I think the other thing that I find that happens is, I'm just going to relate it back like to Hinderer knives, because I never had held one, you know, years ago, before I had ever held one. Now I've handled, gosh, it's been like 30. I had just, in my mind, I was like, that's what perfection looks like, is a Hinderer XM18. Hadn't even considered putting a titanium scale on it until I saw a picture of one back in 2012 or 2013 with a titanium scale on it. I was like, oh my gosh, that's it. There couldn't possibly be anything better than that. Fast forward, I handle a whole bunch of stuff, tons and tons of Hinderers. I absolutely love the Hinderer, and up until this point, it's been like my number one, like a full titanium Hinderer X. I've actually got the previous closest to Excalibur knife is actually right here. It's been, and I'll just put it up next to the Shaman so that anybody who doesn't understand exactly what it is that I'm looking for understands. This was the previous, you know, has everything that I want. But the Shaman has the opening hole, it's got the contouring, right? It'll soon have the texturing, it has a better forward choil. It's not an exposed frame lock like this guy, right? The only thing it's lacking versus that guy, or what will be lacking, is, you know, the external stops and then the most preferred steel. But again, I'm okay with S30V for right now. So this guy was like the ultimate. And after handling tons of stuff and realizing there were certain like little things, you know, the reason I ended up with a non-flipper is because I realized, you know, as much as I thought, you know, there was no big deal with the flipper tab, after a while I realized, yeah, actually other knives do have a better, you know, flipper tab design. They got a better landing zone. And then I realized, do I even care about the flipper tab as much? And the answer was no. I actually prefer to open knives like this, you know, over anything else, right? So even though that was at one point, my brain thought this has to be absolute perfection. There couldn't be anything better than this. Inevitably, I got to a point where I found little nitpicks with the Hinderer. I found little things that I thought I would actually prefer it was a little better this way, or had this or this element or whatever. And I think probably exactly the same thing is going to happen with the Shaman, right? There's going to be little tiny things that I find after handling other knives, right, where I'm like, actually, this knife did that just a little bit better, right? Maybe I'll probably think the Shaman overall, I think, is more preferable to me, but gosh, it would be really nice if the Shaman took this element from this design that I just handled. I'd really like to see that. And then all of a sudden, I'm going to have essentially a brand new idea of what I consider to be perfect. What are you guys supposed to take from this? I have no idea. I'm just standing here saying whatever's popping into my head, which seems to be what I do every single time when I do the knife guide. I know people always get mad at me because I don't get things out. This is the J. Kobach Sumo, which I'm opening with two hands because I don't want to drop it on the other knives here. We have the Kaiser Vanguard Sheepdog in micarta. We have the Liang Ma Lenny. Very, very nice knife. Absolutely. Lots of beautiful design elements there. Then we have the Benchmade Bug Out in 20 CV. This is the new one that you can get at Blade HQ. We have the XM18 3.5-inch Harpoon Spanto Gen 6 and the DLT Trading exclusive Fullard Spear. Titanium, blah, blah, blah. Spyderco Shaman and titanium. And then this is the Direware S90. This monstrous tank of a knife that is kind of like a Medford with really good flipping action. Not that I'm unfamiliar with Direware knives. I mean, I know a lot of people who know a lot about Direware are probably like, he doesn't know what he's holding. No, I do. I've actually been aware of Direware for years and years and years. It's just the first time I've ever handled one. It's pretty impressive, honestly. I really didn't think it would be, you know, so smooth. I thought it would be a lot more clunky. But anyways, yeah, I don't know what it is you guys are supposed to take from this. I guess just from my experience in, you know, kind of like lusting after something or this idea of something for so long, and then, you know, getting excited because you realize it actually does take form in some design, or can possibly take form in some custom design if you get all the right pieces, right? It's very exciting. But I think inevitably what's going to happen is that I'm just going to find little things that I want to be ever so slightly different, and then find another thing to chase just because I have to, right? Obviously, I'm not chasing things that are necessary in a folding knife, not by a long shot. No, my interest in this hobby requires me to find things to be interested in, right? Even if it's not necessary. I enjoy that, right? I get a thrill out of it. I get a buzz from it. I like looking at new things, and I like to get excited about stuff like this. So, yeah, this is going to come to a culmination, right? But I think if anybody's expecting the channel to suddenly just be like, here it is, I found it, and this is the grand result of the channel, and this is where it's... No, probably not. Actually, my plan for this channel is to take it as far as I possibly can, because I feel like, obviously, there are a million other things to discover in the knife world, things that have existed for a long time that I've never experienced, and the inevitable massive array of things to come out that I've yet to experience that will undoubtedly change the way that I think about this stuff. I've changed the way I've thought about all this so many times since I started getting into this a long time ago, right? I've been wrong about tons of stuff. I've had a certain foundation for what I say that it's associated with a certain element or a certain knife, and then something else comes into play and it throws that completely out the window. There's so much uncertainty that I think it's irresponsible for me to sit down and say this is absolute and it can't change, right? My idea on this is absolute. I have a lot of firm opinions, a lot of firm, beliefs in certain types of knives and mechanisms, ergonomics, things like that, right? But I think I'd be silly to sit here and be like, no, I'm never, this is perfect and nothing else can ever change my mind on that. No, that would be boring. That'd be a boring world, and that would be a really sad way to enjoy a hobby, from my perspective, right? I want to be surprised. I want to be impressed. I want my mind to be changed, and I like, sometimes, I don't always like being wrong, but sometimes I like being wrong if the outcome, is potentially something that I would enjoy even more, right? Just throwing a lot of words around at this point. I'm not really saying anything. But anyways, I don't know that there's really a whole lot more I can say. I'm really excited about this. I'm really happy with it just right now the way that it is. This clip is going to go. I intentionally, by the way, told, I think they have an option that they'll mill out the lanyard hole. You guys know how I feel about lanyard holes. Don't want it on there, right? So the stock clip has this hole that leads to nowhere. And the stock clip isn't perfect the way that it is. So I've got a better clip coming that's a deep carry. Not that deep carry is better always than this length of carry, but it's going to cover up that hole, right? And it's got a little bit better bill here with the upward swoop, which is what I look for, right? I'll be really happy with it in that form, and it'll probably hang around the channel for a little bit just for me to enjoy it before I send it off for texturing. And then once it's textured, it'll come back and it'll be essentially perfect. But truthfully, there's still another step after that, and that's to wait for Spyderco to release a Spyderco Shaman in a more preferable steel, and very specifically the tumbled finish, right? So, like, if they release one in S45VN, which honestly would be just about ideal for me, but it comes out in a satin finish, it's gonna piss me off because I don't want the satin finish. I want the tumbled finish, right? It's been so long waiting for this to finally culminate, right? I'm just gonna wait until they do what I want in the right finish, right? And not necessarily that it has to be S45VN. There's a couple other steels that would work, but they just always do their sprints and satin finishes, and I don't want that. I like that this tumbled finish knocks these corners down, and I like how the tumbled finish looks, and it matches with the tumbled frame really well. It's what I want, right? So anyways, yeah, there's not really much more I can say. This was a very rambly episode of The Knife Guy, just sort of thoughts out loud. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on this Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe, because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.